Hey everyone, Kaihatsu here. Well, the year is almost up, and it's time to look back at what I've managed to accomplish this year, but in a slightly different way. This year, instead of just doing a kind of normal yearly review like I did last year, I am doing the Wants to Battle tag, which is this thing in the PokeTuber community that people who make Pokemon videos do every year that was started by Birdkeeper Toby. And I was roped into this by the Ruin Maniac Files.
Well, that one over there wrote me into this. Well, he wrote me into this.
Another cool channel that you should check out, who tagged me in this challenge, so I am going to attempt to do it. It's a little bit different from how I usually do things, but let's just roll with it and see what happens. So there's 7 questions here. I am going to try and answer most of them. So let's begin. Question 1. What is the video you are most proud of making this year? For me, that would probably have to be the video that I made about video games in North Korea. I would have said the first Nostalgia Trip episode, but that was actually released just before the start of 2018. It was released on Boxing Day, I think it was. Yeah, Boxing Day. And I really enjoyed making that, but if you're talking about this year specifically, then it would have to be the video I made about North Korea, because that was very well polished, and it got really popular. And then Kotaku and Gizmodo both wrote articles about that video, which was really weird, but cool. And it was also the video that I spent the most money on making, actually. The images that I used, I went out and bought, but yeah, I think it was worth it. It came out really well. Question number 2. Advice for someone starting PokeTubing. Okay, I'm not a PokeTuber. The last Pokemon video I made was 2 years ago. I don't like the term PokeTubing. I think the word itself is a little bit stupid. But I can try and give advice about making videos in general. I mean, considering that for the past year my YouTube channel has been going nowhere fast, I don't know how much of my advice is going to be good, but if I was starting a channel again, then one of the first things I would do would be to invest in software. It sounds stupid, but these days it is very difficult to gain an audience on YouTube. I think you've got better luck winning the jackpot on a slot machine than getting popular. But if you want people to kind of come back to your videos and, you know, like them and just, you know, think they're good, then learn how to use editing software. I can't stress that enough. It's very important. It's just something like, it doesn't even have to be Premiere, because I know that Premiere is very expensive, but I think there's humble bundles and things going around where you can get Sony Vegas, which is a very good program to use. I know a lot of popular YouTubers still use Vegas. I prefer Premiere, but, you know, that's just me. And then after that, I would say, talk about something interesting, something that you're passionate about, something that you like, a video that, you know, you will give meaning to, something that means something, basically. That's the best way I can describe that. I would steer clear from things like top 10s, the very vacuous, insipid videos. I mean, obviously, if you want to try and get popular and you just want to do the same thing again and again to make it go viral and for people to watch your videos and get views, and yeah, I suppose you could do that. But, you know, I think it's more interesting to try and diversify things a little bit and make videos that are interesting, because I suppose, yeah, some of my view counts are a bit disappointingly low, but I know that from looking at the interaction rates that I get on my videos, that the same people that care about my videos come back again and again to watch them. And I think having a small audience that cares is actually a lot better than, you know, having a big number that's kind of faceless and it's very difficult to kind of come to terms with. I mean, 1,000 is still a lot of people to me, you know. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Number 3. What can your viewers expect from you next year? I'm actually very excited for next year because, unfortunately, this year, my video output rate was about half of that in 2017, and that was because the first half of the year I was busy with, you know, trying to get into university, and I didn't want to screw that up. And I think most of the videos that I came out with this year are actually from the second half of the year, I believe. So next year, I should have a lot more time on my hands to do more cool things. So next year you can expect from me actually getting around to doing Nostalgia Trip. I have a video planned. The next video is going to be about 45 minutes to an hour long. I know, I'm going to see if I can cut it down, but hopefully it should be filled with interesting stuff, enough for you to watch it. And if you don't, well, At least put it on in the background so I can get the watch time, please. Thanks. And apart from that, there's also another series that I'm planning. It's to do with Pokemon. I'm not going to say what it is because I want to keep it a secret, but I'm going to get around to that. I want to get around to making more Pokemon videos in general because even though I don't want to go into making Pokemon videos constantly and that being the only thing, I want to do more of them because I know that Pokemon videos tend to be more popular than other types of videos. But I don't want to do that and only that. I want to do a whole bunch of other things. And the other thing that I asked people on Twitter was about, do you want my videos to have more of a overarching narrative between them, like a story or lore or whatever? And the response was quite positive, so I think I'm gonna go and try something like that. I know Filthy Frank isn't the best example of a YouTube channel, but that was one of the reasons I was attracted to his channel, was just kind of that interesting, weird story that was kind of going on between things, and that's kind of where I got the idea from, but we'll see how that pans out. Question number 4. Let's Go Pikachu or Eevee? I would say Let's Go Pikachu. There's not really a reason for that other than I generally pick the first version than the second version. Although I haven't actually played Let's Go Pikachu, so, you know, my parents were going to buy me Let's Go Pikachu for Christmas, but then they changed their mind and bought me Taiko no Tatsujin for the Switch, which I actually think is really good, and I'm probably getting a lot more enjoyment out of playing that than I would Let's Go, so yeah. Question number 5. Keep it short. How did you feel about Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee? Well, like I said before, I haven't played them, so my reaction is kind of ambivalent. Couldn't really care less one way or the other. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people think, but then again, I don't care about competitive Pokemon playing, and I couldn't care about what competitive players think about the game. So, you know, if they're angry, yeah, who cares? I think it's probably a good change for the franchise. It's a little bit different to what people usually get. And that's about all my thoughts on it, really. And as for the last 2 questions about naming a channel and tagging people, I thought for a long time I couldn't actually think of anyone, any smaller channels really that I watch to recommend, purely because there's not really any smaller channels in the kind of Pokemon video making community or whatever that the kind of audience that would be watching this video would be interested in, because I don't really watch any of the small channels because I, to be honest, have a bit of a difficult time telling the difference between them. And as for tagging people, I couldn't think of anyone to tag that this would really be appropriate for, and considering that this is like the last day of the year, and this is a kind of end of year tradition, I don't think it would be appropriate to really tag anyone at this point in time. But I do have a question from a viewer. I did ask on Twitter for questions from viewers to kind of pad the video out and make it a bit more interesting and different. And one person replied. Thank you very much, viewers. If you want to follow my Twitter, there's a link to that in the description. Go follow my Twitter. Anyways, Carson was asking, am I going to have an upload schedule for next year? And the answer to that is sort of. While I don't have a concrete upload schedule, what I am going to try and do is upload more frequently. And that's about all as I can promise at the moment, is more frequent uploads. It would be nice to get to a point where I could have an upload schedule, but at the moment, all I can promise is more frequent than this year. So anyways, yeah, that's about it for this year. It's been a pleasure making videos, and thanks once again to Ruin Maniac for tagging me in this thing. It was something a little bit different from usual. And go check out his channel as well, link in the description. Anyways, here's to a much better 2019 for the channel. See you next year.